Living in the Wildwoods, what separates the Wildwoods from any of the other shore towns? We can talk a little bit about that here today. I mean, we do cover, we're at the Jersey Shore, just not that Jersey Shore,
Yeah. What sets the Wildwoods apart from the rest of the shore?
I'm going to go on a limb here, and I'm going to say, one of the biggest is the free beaches. I think we talked about this a little bit even the other day. Someone made a comment about having to buy a beach tag if you're here or you're there, and one of the gals had said, well, you have to buy tags in the Wildwoods. Beaches in Wildwood are free. So I think that's first and foremost. That is one of the really separations of any. It's the only free beach town at the in the areas that we cover, pretty much from Ocean City south. So I think that's huge. The Wildwood, we do have the boardwalk in the Wildwoods. Rides, roller coasters, arcades, shops, restaurants. It is all there for you to have. The Wildwood Convention Center is certainly a place for that keeps those. I think this coming weekend is the battle of not this coming weekend. I think 2 weekends from now is the battle of the bands. The marching bands come down for the weekend, and they do that at the convention center. There's everything. There's car shows. Goodness gracious, the Harlem Globetrotters would go there, wrestling, things like that. So there's always things going on, even at the Wildwood Convention Center, which always just has. There's always life in the Wildwoods because there's always something going on. We talk about every once in a while some of these towns that gets a little bit quiet in the off season. If you're here in the 4th of July, my God, I'd love to live here, and then you're like, you live here and it's January and you're like, oh my God, what happened to what it's like during the 4th of July? It's like it's not like that. But with the amount of even with restaurants, the amount of people that are here, during year round, there's just always things that are going on. So there's a tremendous amount of restaurants that are open year round, which I think is great from a separation standpoint. And it's easy proximity to the Delaware Bay if you want to do something to that nature. You're out on the Bayside, you grab the ferry down into Delaware. Cape May is literally, you just jump on Ocean Drive, Pacific Avenue, you scoot right in, they take you 5 minutes. And then that's just a whole nother that's a whole nother part of the Jersey Shore that you can enjoy from your residence in the Wildwoods. Different, again, restaurants, historic places to visit, museums and such, just while you live here. And I think that's, to me, that's always been a big deal for that, where there always seems to be a lot going on in the Wildwoods, no matter what time of the year. And that's something, as someone that lives here, that I enjoy about that.
Of all the festivals and those types of things that they do, do you have a personal favorite?
I do like the Italian festival. That's just me. Love the food, everything they do with that, and so that's just kind of. I'm a Ferzoco, so I guess I like the Italian festival.
Is there like
Fireman's Weekend is more of it's a convention. They're at the Wildwood Convention Center. There's a fireman's convention, and then they top it off with, on Saturday, they have the parade from Wildwood Crest into North Wildwood. So that's always nice. Then you have Irish Weekend, and then the Italian festival. It's just food, dance, song. Arts and crafts, things like that.
Where is that just kind of located?
So that's down in the Wildwoods. That's in the Wildwood, down up the park towards the convention, up towards the convention center area. So they have awards and all that kind of stuff.
So when is the Italian festival?
So the Italian festival is the weekend of September 28th this year. Okay. Saturday, September 28th. Yeah, almost positive.
Are there some hidden gems in the Wildwoods that maybe passersby wouldn't realize they're there?
Well, I think anytime you're in the Wildwoods, like if you're in Wildwood and and you're on like Pacific Avenue, restaurants or anything like that, sometimes you got to pay attention, depending on what time of the year it is. Like, is it something that might just look like it's all closed up, but it's open year round? I mean, Sandra's notorious for always throwing out a restaurant for well, you can try here, and you're like, I didn't even think that was open. Oh yeah, it's open year round. I think it becomes a matter of just kind of paying attention to what could potentially look like it's closed, but is something that's open year round. I mean, hidden gems. I think anything that is worth its soul, that's good, it's not a hidden gem. Like,
it shines.
It shines. Yeah, 100%.
Are there? I guess this is kind of a similar question, but is there any like local secrets or maybe like fun little myths or anything like that about the Wildwoods? It's okay if there's not.
I don't. I'm sure there probably is, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to look at the camera and say no, I don't think there isn't, and I'll probably get slammed on social media. Oh yeah,
okay.
This, that, and the other thing. Like I can't say that there.
Okay, I do have one more question. It is, what is doo-wop, and what does it have to do with the Wildwoods?
Well, it's all. I mean, doo-wop is 50s. It's the 50s theme, and if you go back and you look at the history of Wildwood, and just that doo-wop era is when they really, down here with the hotel motels, whatever clarification you want to have on there, that was in full swing, and they just never really. It got to a point where they never really got away from it. I think one time when you guys were here before, like we went to the doo-wop museum, over down by the convention center, off of down. I think it's Rio Grande and Ocean, like kind of squeezed in between there, and just all like the different signage and all that kind of stuff that they have there from an era of motels, hotels, restaurants, shops, with the signage and whatnot that they had, that they've just want to keep around. I mean, when you come into Wildwood, I mean, even though, welcome to Wildwood, the two main signs that they sort of have that, they have that doo-wop feel, or that, the doo-wop look to them.
I think it's cool how some of those businesses also change their sign a little bit to make it kind of match. Like
tweak it a little bit. Oh yeah, the Wawa sign. The Wawa signs. Like actually, that whole row when you come into, as you come in up Rio Grande Avenue, they sort of they have to have that feel to them. Yep, 100%. And then it's even neat when you have some of them that have kept. They're maybe not a motel anymore. They're they're now a complex. They're all individually owned, but they've kept the signage, out front, and those are always, like the Lollipop comes to mind. That they still have them there, which is nice. Well, that kind of covers it. The Wildwoods. We're looking at, just the life, as far as there's always something something going on in the Wildwoods. We talked about a little bit about the doo-wop era. And things like that, restaurants, happenings, and just there's always something going on in the Wildwoods. We kind of cover that a little bit in this here segment.